I really appreciate your support. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. Martin Roach, welcome to my house. Have you got your tea or your
I
coffee?
have, I have. I've got my little cup of tea with Yorkshire tea, real tea, and two sugars. Not
Two
sweet enough.
sugars Yorkshire tea. That is exactly the way that I like my Yorkshire tea.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
Martin, you're an interesting one, aren't you? First of all,
Hmm.
do you, Martin?
How old am I? I am nearly 52. Oh my
Never,
God.
never.
Never. Look at that. And it's not dyed. That's my own teeth, no fillings. It's my own face, no fun and cows. I can't believe
Yeah,
it. With all
yeah.
the, with
Now,
all, with all the crap that's happened in my life, how have I looked so wonderfully handsome and beautiful? My
oh
little
my
cheeky
God.
smile.
So, you've got an interesting
I have.
story, and I'm just gonna jump straight into it. So,
Okay.
what was your early years like?
Okay. I've always been a bit of an odd chap. Because bear in mind is in 1986, when I was about 14, I had black National Health glasses, I had braces, I had a mullet, and I had a green Puma tracksuit. Oh, I looked awful. Um, what was it? The early days, it wasn't my childhood. I was just it was just weird. It was just very weird, but just feel very comfortable in myself. I've always been a very good loner, let's say. I've always liked my own company. I do firmly believe that you could be on your own and very, very happy. You could be in a crowd of people and you can be lonely. I actually think I'm actually now comfortable in my own skin now. But in those days, I was 50, 51, 52, and I wasn't happy. I am now.
Nice, nice. So, you were brought up in it, like England, Wales, Scotland. Where were
Um,
you brought up?
I was born in a place called Reading, which is out in our living, and but I actually spent most of my childhood in Wokingham. Um, Very sort of 70s kind of place. All the kids hung out together. We did rounders till 11 at night, and all the kids hung out. And actually, in the early days, it was really great. And you had obviously neighbours. They were all called like auntie and uncle. And I mentioned about the ones where they did all the cycling on their own. They also um, labelled all their furniture. So this particular family, their TV, duvet, but also because my dad was in one of the Deep Purple bands, we were allowed to watch Top of the Pops. We were allowed to watch Magpie. Oh yes, we were allowed to watch Morrissey when he came on with the old Daffodil thing. My dad, oh yeah, when we hadn't had rock and roll on, my dad said turn it up. So we had quite
Nice.
a we had quite accepting parents until about 1990 when my sister bought that song Right on Time, and she used to go out clubbing, and she used to leave the clubbing at 3 in the morning. And my dad said,
Mm.
"No, right on time." No, my dad said, "No, that's it now. Turn it off now. That's not music." But yeah, we had a very good childhood. All the kids went to it together. But yeah, it was a nice time.
Can I ask you about cerebral palsy? What
Yes.
was that journey? What was that journey
Uh,
like when you found out and you had to?
I think the whole third person thing becomes relevant because when I look back, I'm thinking, no wonder people were picking on me. I had a metal frame on my leg. I was being wheeled around. I think even now, at 51, 52, I'm conscious that people will say, how are you? I can someone like little old dear. How are you? Well, look, are you doing all right? The voice would be raised differently, and it was like, no, I'm fine. And as I've got older, I got more sort of angry towards that, maybe. But I went to what was a horrible phrase, but it was a thing called a special school at the time called
Yeah.
Westmead, and I went to a school with people who had much more pronounced cerebral palsy, some that were paraplegic. But I've always had a lot of role models, and I had a physiotherapist called Peggy Heisman, and this woman here, she taught me how to walk. And interestingly, when had
Oh,
physio last year, this woman came
yeah.
along, and I now have physio with her. And I mentioned Mrs. Seasman's name, and she said she was the woman who taught her 40 years ago.
So can I ask you, Mark, like
Yep.
for people that might not understand
Yes.
what cerebral palsy is, in
Yes.
a nutshell, what is
Yep.
it?
It basically, the way to describe it, it feels like you're the Tin Man in Wizard of Oz. You don't quite have the oil in your mouth, or you basically it's like a freezing up of things, basically. So you kind of want to go and find Judy Garland to get a little tin of something and a little ointment and kind of loosen up, basically. But of course, when you've got a speech impediment, a lot of people wish to say, "And how's your speech impediment today?" And it's like, well, that's the worst thing you can do. You don't want to draw attention to it. But I think the problem is nowadays, more and more, it affects the brand, doesn't it? When you're trying to be jazzy and smiley and happy, and communication is very, very important. And I think it ruins just your street cred if you can't say certain words when you're a kid, with the mullet and the green puma suit and the train tracks and the glasses. I was a real pull puller, wasn't I?
You
Come
had
on.
it all, didn't you?
Yeah.
This is why I admire you. So can you tell me about what happened when, like, you realised that you were gay? How did that story unfold?
I've always you always have feelings, don't you? This is about certain magazines or certain TV programs or whatever. I always think I've thought it through quite a lot, and I think it's down to the fact that because I'm physically weaker, therefore this a bit like Mills and Boone, this masculine man will sweep me along and kind of save the day sort of thing. And I think it's always been a bit like that, really. I would say it was naturally going to happen, but I look at like 1976. I've got a shock of blonde hair. I've got, even now, maybe it was always going to happen. But I did have girlfriends when I was younger, but it's like, no, you know what your instincts are. And I think as you get older, and through the PV program, you realise that actually be yourself. And I'd rather be myself than go and have the.
So how old was you when you came out? And was it okay?
Okay. Now, this is a bit like EastEnders. This is not actually making up. This is how it went. You know that I basically lost a lot of weight through an infection, and I lost about 7 stone. I was declining weight in the work office, and people could start to pick up there's a difference, And I then had to move in with my parents, and no disrespect to my mum. What happened there? The first conversation about anything was one when I was having a shave. My mum said, "Have you got AIDS?" That was the first conversation. So I must give my parents utmost respect because, in hindsight, what they've had to deal with me, whether it's self-inflicted or otherwise, they have been superstars. So I basically, in the course of an hour, had to tell them about the fact that I'd be going to a clinic to try and get it sorted out. But obviously, I was ill. It was not going away. That I was gay. That the whole lot in one day. But by the Friday, things have progressed.
You don't mess about, do you, Martin?
By the Friday, let's look at the other end. By the Friday of that Monday, I lost another half a stone, and I'd seen all my family because it wasn't known whether I was going to outlive the weekend. I was carried from family member to family member, and it worked out that I hadn't had the HIV test because I always had a fear of needles. And I could possibly be dead. So I went from coming out to almost dying, the whole thing in 6 days.
Wow.
Yes. Wow. I mean, literally, it is. When you say about diamond in the rough, if I actually now unpick certain events, it was crazy. It was just absolutely crazy.
Yeah. So you found out you had HIV quite late in life. You was 51.
I had CD4 200. I had a viral load of, I think it was about 1 million.
Your immune system was quite low.
I was in a really bad state. I basically couldn't go to the toilet for about 3 months. I couldn't eat. I couldn't take any food. So I was always been quite thin. But I was literally skin and bones, and I knew what it was. I think inherently you know what it was. But in the first 6 days, I went from that of having the first conversation all the way through to shit. He might not be alive by Monday.
Wow.
And you also know one thing you always learn is that Welsh people, you will never see a Welshwoman cry. I never saw my nans cry. My grandparents or grandfathers, they were like little babies. But it was also the first time I'd ever seen my dad cry because we were being carried from to his parents. And he got me in the front of the car and he just leaned over and he held my hand. And he basically wept and cried, and he basically took him an hour and a half to get to his mum and dad's because he just couldn't get the tears out of his eyes. And it's the first time I'd ever seen him cry. And went into this room, and it's my favourite granddad, he was a mess, you know.
They must be so proud of you now, Martin.
Um, do you know what I mean? And that's what I said this yesterday. I had my first ever THC public speak. As I walked out, this woman came up to me, and she was in a flood of tears. Myself and usually me had to console her because she was so overwhelmed by what I said. She said, "You're an inspiration, and you're a very brave young man."
You are. You
I'm
really
not. I'm
are.
not. This woman, where she had to stand for 5 minutes. I was like, she was so overcome. She'd run up to sort of say what she had to say, and it was like,
Wow.
oh my god! I had a loud, almost like a standing ovation at the end of my first speech because I told them it was the first speech. But this woman
Wow.
who was running the meeting was a very sort of serious kind of like poker face, American lady. But after I'd given my speech, every remaining 10 seconds, she was like, "Have I just heard that story?" Literally, her jaw was on the floor like droopy, and it was like the reaction to people when they see the video
Yeah.
or the prep. They're like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. So this is a bit that I'm quite curious about, like, because you were, I suppose different when you were growing up. You had cerebral palsy, you had a mullet, you wore
Yeah,
green tracksuits,
yeah.
right?
Oh,
You
well,
were a little bit,
I was always going to be one for the girls, wasn't
yeah,
I? Yeah. Cool, look at
yeah,
mine with his metal frame on his leg and his green
yeah.
Puma
Oh,
suit.
yeah. Don't
Sure.
forget
Oh
the
yeah,
metal
Metal
frame
Mickey.
on your
He
leg.
was going to be. Oh yeah. What a
Yeah.
follower.
Had
Oh yeah.
speech impediment, as you've
Yes.
said, right?
Now
So
you
you've
can.
had all that,
Always,
and
always coming last in cross country races, and and school discos. Oh my god, I was the only person that always had the last dance on my own. The thing is, it's like my life has been so sort of interesting and horrific and exciting and
yeah,
amazing, and I've survived it. I just don't know. I don't know how I've got through this. How the
yeah.
that is the book. How the hell have I done all of this? I think it's actually to tell people I have survived all of this. And shit, why the hell is he still here?
Because I think you've got an amazing personality. So, with all what you
Mm,
went through when you were younger,
mm,
being different,
mm.
right? When you got HIV, did the stigma like that was? How did you deal with stigma, or did you like? How did that
Um,
work for you?
what really helped, Louise, was that at that point. You remember that I was 5.5 stone. I
Yeah.
couldn't really care. I couldn't really care. I was
Oh,
in hospital, and I'm not making this up because I got two people that will back me up. I saw angels. My mum said to me, she said, lay back, have a sleep. I said, I can't, mum, because I can see angels.
what did that look like? What
Um,
did you see?
I've had the same image every dream for about the last 25 years. I know, and I now know what happens. You walk into a room, and there's like a vicar on a pulpit, and he is basically will explain to you why certain things are happening in your life. And that's why people can they pass over properly. They have a smile on their face. Things are explained. And at the very end, you look right. And all the people that passed on are like in a party in the room and then in the door and they're welcoming you over. And that happened to me in hospital. But at that point, I said, no, I don't want to go into the room. I'll be told why certain things are happening. I want to go back with my family who are still on the earth.
Were you told why certain things were happening?
Um, but in
Did they give
hospital,
you any, did you get any messages when you had these when you saw what is it? You said you saw the other side.
angels, yeah. Basically,
Angels.
um,
What
the thing to bear in mind is I have always believed that as humans, we're all together. Another
yeah.
example: when my mum's mum died, she was cremated. The following week, I'm not making this up, her ashes had formed a perfect heart shape. A
Hmm.
perfect heart shape.
Yeah.
That doesn't. People have seen my partner's presence on this sofa 7 times. People that are not religious people at all, 7 people. They said there is somebody else with presence in this spot in your room.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow. Wow. You've had that's really interesting. So okay, so right.
you're thinking
There's a lot there.
I'm very
I think
sane. I'm a very sane normal person.
no,
Yeah.
that's fine. I get you. I don't have, like I understand what you're talking about there.
Yes.
What because I do believe that, we are on earth to learn certain
One hundred
things,
percent.
and I have to be careful how I say that because when
Yep.
people are going through really, really difficult times, they're like, oh, what's that? I'm
Yeah.
not here to learn anything. This is just like really difficult for me. But I do have a belief that we are here to kind of learn
I know.
certain things, and we are here for a purpose as
We are.
well. What do you think you're here for? And what do you think your
Um,
purpose is?
I think I actually believe that I will have, in the end, a very senior role in PV. I felt all that last year. And I think I'm going to prove to people, and in my life, I think I'm going to normalise disability and normalise HIV, because the look on people's faces when my parents have watched the video prep and they were in tears for an
Yeah,
hour.
yeah,
I've had friends who are very, very straight the real serious men who will never cry. I've had grown men on this sofa weeping, look at my video prep, weeping.
yeah, yeah.
My favourite English teacher's daughter, she's like I got in touch with her, the one that, my favorite ever English teacher. And the thing is, people think it's initially like a thing at school, but when they then gradually see the raw and brutal content within 10 seconds, this 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 English teacher's daughter again, she was like, oh my god, how the hell are you doing that? Literally,
Yeah,
because actually, bear
yeah,
in mind, this is Martin Roach. This is the person who is normally hated public speaking, who is been bullied, who has
yeah,
been patronised, who has been. But tell
yeah,
you what, I found my calling in almost like a religious sense,
yeah.
and I know who's is my front partner who passed over. It's the right time, right now, and for the next 30, 40 years, I'm going to prove so many people wrong in a very positive way.
And do you know why I really want you to come on the show as well, Martin? Because
Mhm.
it's about like I really am a firm believer in like inclusivity,
Yes,
and everything can be normal.
yes,
I want everyone to feel included, regardless of how they look, how they
yep.
feel. There's something about that kind of unity that I really want to get out there. So here's my last question for you, Mark,
Mhm,
right? If there's
mhm,
somebody
mhm.
listening
Yep,
right now to this video, and they're having a hard time,
yep.
what would you say to them?
I don't want to play the whole victim thing, and I don't want to say that my life's been worse than anybody else. But what I'm saying is look, I'm a fighter. I'm a genuine fighter. I've had to fight for things, even last year for different benefits or things. I've had to fight for things, and you have to realise that in the end, not everyone's going to like you. There are some human
Yeah,
beings, a lot of human beings out there who are really horrible. Yeah, that word. They're really horrible people. There are horrible people and nice people in this world. But the one thing I will say is the good guys always win. Good guys always win. And it may take 51, 52 years, but the good guys always win in life. And if you treat people nasty in life and you're unpleasant to people, you will get your comeuppance. That's why I believe that 51 years is my reference book for the next 51 years, however long, is to say everything's going to be okay. Because if I can survive, if you hear my 10-minute story, if I can survive that, yours will be a breeze, a walk in the park. You've nothing to worry
oh,
about. I've survived death twice. I've been bullied for 15
wow,
years. I've had stigma thrown at me left, right, and centre for 51 years. Acceptance within family, within friends. But you know
yeah.
what? That's not my problem anymore. But I'm not angry, but I have to be very firm. That's not my problem. That's your problem. When I walk across the road, they see the way that I walk. They're summarising their view of me before they even speak to me. That's your problem, not mine. You're not walking in my shoes. You're not the person who's having to do things with one working hand and one working leg for 51 years. I'm a proud man. And I will, even if I have to walk around in my hand, or crawl around on my hands and knees, I'll do whatever I can for the rest of my life.
I think you're amazing. And I'm sending you so much love right now. And I
No,
definitely want to talk to you again. Um, thank you.
no worries.
Stay on the line and we'll have
No
a
worries.
little more
Thank
of
you.
a
No worries.
chat.
Thank you. Thank you. All right down, but I'm still
Say
here.
say that say that again. You've
I've
had
had
51 years of
I've sometimes had feel I've had 51 years in many ways. I've been kicked and bullied and pushed right down, but I'm still here. I'm not going away. And so people are like, I am
yeah.
still here. And believe you me, I've just got I could do a lot more, right? But no one's going to
So
ever
proud of
patronize.
you.
No one's ever going to patronize me again. I'm doing karate. I'm doing swimming. I don't care what your view is of me, right? I'm walking in my own shoes. You try walking mine.
I really appreciate your support. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe.